I think it kind of gets at the point that the root cause of much human suffering and societal decay is traced back to our inherent drive towards self alienation and self destruction, which is this inverse call to the void that is reaching out to the social trust and social bonds that we once had, that was shared with a collective belief in a higher, or just a divine, like a such a deep community connection that was almost religious, which both of those things we no longer have. We no longer have an institutionalized belief in a higher, at least in the West. I mean, Islam is still a thing. Um, uh, and we definitely have completely oriented ourselves towards material means rather than any type of understanding of what community is. And this is the important thing about this, is that this alienation, because it affects two sides of the spectrum, right? If social constraints create a situation where a ruler is put into a position where they have to use their power, that alienates them as a ruler, right? And so this is a paradoxical situation where this disconnect from our fundamental connection to a greater understanding of humanity is actually what drives our evolutionary change, because we're able to really shape our individual, our individual humanity in a whole bunch of different ways that then creates this evolutionary push. But this also has shaped our psyche and behavior and social structures, which are basically an extension of our psyche in a way that has created this self-replicating system of our mind, and how our mind works on these different types of drives. And the higher drives are more towards feelings of love and connection and security, and then the lower ones are based on, food, water, sex, things like that. And um, I think to really understand all of this and all of where these drives come from, it's really important to understand the origins of not just our civilization, but like just our like the idea of like a group of humans as far back as a state, a higher state of consciousness, a collective consciousness could exist, because there is a unique development of our collective and our individual psyche happening in unison that creates this wild, polar opposite, that is still reflected in our psyche when those drives get crossed or get have some type of confliction. And the point of this is basically, so if you look at back just generally historically, societies have long focused on communal living. There's been a shift towards individualism in the past, 500 or so years. But for the most part, we've lived as social beings connected to each other significantly. And this shift towards the individual has created massive contemporary challenges and a future that basically does not exist.